What's going on, guys? Fight Season MMA, and last night there was some breaking news that the headline of the UFC Sphere, and I think the news was on accident, but the headlining of the Sphere is going to be, the main event is going to be Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway, and the co-main event is going to be Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Merab the Machine Dvalishvili. If you guys enjoy the UFC content, please leave a like and subscribe, and 98% of viewers who watch my videos are not subscribed, so go down there and hit the subscribe button, and let's get right into this video. Okay, so last night was the UFC Denver card, and on the French-Canadian broadcast, there was a little leak that I think happened, and that was the headlining of the UFC Sphere. First off, they came up and said that the headliner of the Sphere is going to be Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway, and that is such an amazing fight, and that was my prediction for the headlining of the Sphere. If you go back about 5 days ago, I made a video talking about who was going to possibly headline the Sphere, and I had that Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway was going to be that fight. And the other fight I had as the co-headliner account to this broadcast is Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Both of these fights are so amazing. You look at, let's start with the main event. Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. You got the best power puncher the UFC has probably right now, pound for pound, and Ilia Topuria, one of the best technical strikers and jiu-jitsu artists, going up against Max Bless Holloway, one of the greatest mixed martial artists ever. And I think that this is such an amazing fight for both fighters. You look at Ilia Topuria's one-punch knockout power, him defeating Alexander Volkanovski in his last fight, and Max Holloway defeating Justin Gaethje, Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen in their last fights is something absolutely insane. Now, Max Holloway is trying to regain that title after he went on, he defended the title a couple of times. He did Jose Aldo and Brito and Ortega, and he lost to Alexander Volkanovski in the first fight, and he almost won in the second fight, which in a very controversial decision, and in the third fight, he got absolutely bodied by Alexander Volkanovski. But now he has a chance to go at someone else, that is Ilia Topuria, who did just beat Alexander Volkanovski in impressive fashion with that second round KO. But ultimately, what do I think about this fight, or who do I think is going to win? I think that this fight favors Ilia Topuria. I do think Ilia is going to be able to grind out a 5-round decision win. And the reason I say that is because Ilia's striking is so good. He is able to mix up everything so well, add the jiu-jitsu in, and do everything he needs to get that win. I don't know if anyone has watched the Ilia Topuria versus Josh Emmett fight. That was one of the most impressive performances I have ever seen. Ilia Topuria in the 4th round had a 10-7 round on Josh Emmett. Looked like he killed Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett only survived because of that sheer power and will that he possesses. But Ilia Topuria has the tank to go all 5 rounds. And yes, against Max Holloway is a whole different beast than Josh Emmett. But I do believe that Ilia is going to be able to withstand that tank of Max Holloway and ultimately get the win in a 5-round decision. But moving on to the co-headliner real quick, Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. This is going to be an action-packed fight. Merab Dvalishvili says that Sean O'Malley is going to think he's going to grapple, but then he's just going to go punch him in the face, and if he does that, he's going to get knocked out cold by Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is one of the greatest counterpunchers the UFC has in the sport right now. You look at Israel Adesanya, Sean O'Malley, and those are really the big two, I think, that are really up there in counterpunching. I don't know if I would rank anyone else over Sean O'Malley other than Israel Adesanya, but Sean O'Malley is going to be able to have the striking advantage in this display between the two, and he's going to be able to read Merab Dvalishvili, I think, a little bit better than Merab thinks. Now, if Merab's going to win this fight, he's going to have to use that gas tank, and he's going to have to use that wrestling to put Sean O'Malley in a world that he doesn't really know. It's really hard. You might have amazing cardio, but it's really hard to keep that cardio when you go into a position to where you don't know what you're doing. You look at Aljamain Sterling, and he has cardio for grappling for 5 days straight. But then you look at his striking cardio, and it's not in that same category. But then you look at Sean O'Malley, his striking cardio is insane, but his grappling cardio definitely is not all that. So you got to understand what the fighter is good at, and if you bring him to a different position or into a different world, it's going to definitely benefit the fighter who has already had that there. So if Merab can bring Sean O'Malley down and start striking and start grappling on him, the striking department is going to become so much easier for Merab. And ultimately, I do have Sean O'Malley winning this fight, though. I think Merab is going to be overly aggressive, and I think he's going to go in there and get caught by a knee or get caught by some counterpunch pretty early on. So I'm going to say I have Sean O'Malley by 2nd round knockout, and ultimately, I do think that this is a very dangerous fight for Merab Dvalishvili, but I do think that this is an amazing, really close fight for both of these fighters. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, me breaking the news that Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway is the main event for UFC 306 at the Las Vegas Sphere, and the co-main event is probably going to be Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think about these two fights. Who do you think is going to win? And do you think that my takes are good, right, wrong, or just completely benign, depending on the situation? Also, please hit the like and subscribe button because 98% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed, and we're on the road to 500 subscribers. While you're down there as well, please turn on the post notifications just so you guys do not miss a video when it drops, when it's released, and you guys can always be updated on the latest MMA content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and there will be more videos coming very, very soon. So stay tuned, and thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon.